What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Palmetto Cats Live. It's a wonderful, brisk Wednesday night here in good old South Carolina. I hope the weather is good wherever you're at. Tonight, we have a special guest, Mr. Kris Flores of Muddy River Catfishing. He's going to be sharing with us some of his fishing hacks and fabrications. And I just can't wait. It's always a great conversation when we have Kris on. Such an awesome guy and such a wealth of information to share with everybody. But before we get going, first of all, thank you for everybody in chat. I know we were talking before the show started. Thanks, Maurice and Uncle Jeep and LTW Avid, Jackie V, James Alba, all these people, DLD, who were in the chat before. And we're just chatting it up. And we were talking kind of before the show. So thank you guys for coming there early and keeping me company while we waited for the show to start. Got some things coming up I want to talk to you about. First of all, thank you for the Boom Squad members. You saw there in the intro that I was thanking my Boom Squad members. If you're interested in knowing what that is, the Boom Squad are a group of people who donate monthly to be a member of the channel. They get exclusive content, mainly which is the Real Deal Fishing podcast that Michael Murillo and I record live right here on the show. So they get to come in and chat, give us video ideas, and I bounce things off of them like thumbnails and whatnot. Then there's special discounts from the store and all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description. You can join the Boom Squad if you'd like. If that's your thing, you can do that. This weekend is Palmetto Island, guys. Starting tomorrow after work, I'm hooking up the boat, loading the truck, and I'm headed out to Santee Cooper to Lake Marion. And I'm going to have a bunch of people out on this island, and we're just going to camp and have a great time. It's primitive camping, no electricity, no toilets, no running water. We're just going to be out there and having a good time. I know Freddie's coming and Mark from Whisker Pig is coming. And if I start naming people, I'm going to forget. But if that's your thing, you want to come out there, we're meeting at Hills Landing in Cross, South Carolina. So that's where we're meeting. Of course, I'll be out there Thursday night, but you can meet Friday morning or anytime Friday. If you want to come, just email me. The email is scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. Or if you have me on Facebook, you can message me. If you hear me sniffing or snorting or coughing or hacking or whatever, it's because I got sick on Sunday, guys. On my birthday. Yeah, it was I had a great birthday, but then after the fishing part when we got home, it just went downhill from there. But so just forgive me for all the sniffing and the snot and all that stuff. We'll get through it. Next up, the podcast. I told you about the podcast, Real Deal Fishing Podcast. Check that out. The Golden Whisker sponsorships are now open. If you'd like to sponsor an award, you can email me. Here next week, I'll be getting up all the awards, what they mean, who they are, what they represent. And if you want to sponsor a certain award, you can definitely do that. It helps buy the medal. And if I have to ship it, it helps me ship it. But it also helps with production costs and things like that, traveling and all that jazz. So if you're interested in sponsoring an award, hit me up at that email you saw earlier. We're getting there, y'all. And then October 29th is the Monster Hunt. It's the Monster Hunt, guys. Don't forget. We have 9 awesome anglers. The biggest fish wins. That's an online catfishing tournament right here on this channel. You don't want to miss it. There's going to be big fish. Last year, we had a 52-pound blues, a 64-pound flathead, and none of those 3 fish won it. It was a 68-pound blue that won. There's definitely going to be some awesome fish caught. I guarantee. And if it's not, we'll have a great time doing it. And the last thing I want to talk about is Mr. JBT emailed me and said, "Hey, man, can you talk about our show, Keeping It Big Time? Sharina's Keeping It Real and Fishing with JBT over on Sharina's Keeping It Real's YouTube channel. They are doing a show on Friday nights, And this weekend, or this Friday, they have a special guest. He's a co-owner, Orlando Rosales, of a special bait company. So you guys want to check that out. I've watched the first 2 episodes. Very fun show, and you guys can go check that out. They're supporters of the Palmetto Cats YouTube channel, so of course I'm going to shout them out. So that being that, here, let's get to the meat of the show. Here he is, Mr. Kris Flores. What's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? Kevin, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Man, and I'm not going to lie to anybody, guys. Kris is bailing me out. I've been wanting Kris on the show for a long time to talk about some of his hacks and stuff. And, with the sickness and everything, getting ready for his camping trip, I kind of let the ball drop. And Kris has just been a trooper. He said, I got you, man. I'm not going to let you drown. And so thank you for that, Kris. And I appreciate you.
You got it, man. You're always there for me, brother. So it's the least I could do.
Yeah, man. And we got your buddy in there, Dave's Fishing Guide Services. What's up, Dave?
Good old Dave.
And the reason he's a good guy, but I bring him up because some of the conversation before the show was about the thumbnail.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna pull that thumbnail up real quick. Kind of talk about how this happened. That's Dave's Fishing Guide Services in that net. Believe it or not.
That's my buddy Dave right there, man. Yeah, that was at Catfish conference in Kentucky. And Dave was nice enough to hang out and go with me. It's a long drive to go by yourself. So Dave came up with me, and we were walking through getting set up, and we passed the Mondo Cat booth, and I saw that net. I said, "Oh, that's a Dave size net right there." So I scooped him up with it. It's which one is it?
The Colossal Cat net, I believe.
Colossal Cat. There you go. It's a Dave size net. It'll fit the big boys, that's for sure. But yeah, we had a good time, man.
When he means Dave size, he means Kevin size as well. Dave and I are pretty similar in size, and he said you should be proud of me. I just touched a 19-pounder.
Well, now the question is, with or without gloves, Dave? Come on, I know you got those pretty pink gloves that you use for catfish.
No, he meant a 19-pound burrito, man, not a catfish. Oh man, if you guys missed the Catfish conference in February, you missed an awesome time. Not only did you have Kris Flores there, but Steve and the rest of the gang, a bunch of YouTubers, and then Dave. We got to meet Dave. It was his first time as well. And we just all had a blast. And I think Dave worked more that weekend than probably he's worked in a long time.
Poor Dave. Oh yeah, he was hurting. We all were, man. Those shows are tough on the feet, man. That's for sure. Steve had to figure it out this last time. He's over there in flip flops, man.
I know, right? I guess that's he lost 100 pounds, so he's feeling himself.
Yeah,
he can do that. So we just got back from Catfish conference 2 weeks ago, and it seems like just yesterday we were there.
Yeah.
How was your drive back? You put out a video. Not only did you ride all the way out there, do business, spend time with your family and friends, you rode back and you ended up filming a video. Tell us about that real quick.
Oh man, it was awesome. I always do this to myself. I'm saying, I'm going to be all business, and I'm going to go do what I got to do and get back, because there's a million one things waiting for me. And so I just took off driving, and I noticed I was about 5.5 hours into my trip, and I saw on the maps I was literally like 5 minutes away from a lake right there that I'd never been to, and it's in my home state, and I've always wanted to explore. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll take a quick detour. I might as well. But when I stopped over there, man, it was beautiful, beautiful lake. It's called Ute Lake. And man, I gotta tell you, when I saw that lake, the water's really clear. There's all kinds of fish swimming around. They were jumping. I could see bass and bluegill and stuff. So the second I got into Kansas City, I went to the first Bass Pro I could find and bought me a little GX2 rod and a topwater lure and some hooks and some worms, And I said, when I go back, I'm gonna go hit that lake. So
yeah, because you weren't getting any bass equipment from the Catfish conference.
No. But it was fun, it's been a long time that I have actually just gone out and and had fun like that, and didn't care what I caught. There's no pressure on the fishing. I just went out there, messed around, caught some nice. I caught some walleye, caught some smallmouths. I caught off camera. I caught a largemouth and some white bass, and on camera some bluegill, some green sunfish. It was a nice mix, and the lake's a lot bigger than I expected it to be. So I might drag my boat out there and do some serious fishing.
There you go. Meanwhile, we had a super chat, and my button is across the floor. I have like a siren button, and Olive, my dog, decided she liked it, and she was carrying it around, barking at it. But thank you, Freddie, for that $5 super chat. He said, Palmetto Island, because Freddie is coming out to camp with us. So that'll
Oh,
be
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Thank you for that, Freddie. Thank you for that. Boom, boom. We got Miss Paula Smith in here. She got good news today. She said God is good. So I imagine that means that her scans and everything are looking good. So
I was
that's
a
awesome.
sweetheart.
Yeah, and she says she's going to be up at Catfish Conference in February, so that'd be cool.
Good deal.
Yeah, Mark Hicks said we need a Catfish Conference in North Carolina. I think they're at least talking about coming out east. Now, that's as much as the information as I can give you because that's as much as they told me. But I'm sure that if they're coming out there, they'll make an announcement soon. I just walk around and look pretty, so that's all I got to do with it. There's Laura the Explorer. All right, so we're here tonight to we got a cool comment there. Really cool having a real OG of fishing on here. Gotta love Muddy River catfishing.
Oh, thank
You know
you.
that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, East Coast Cat Con. All right. How did the Kansas Cat Conference go? It was great. We all had a great time. You
I
know,
love it.
yeah, it was fantastic seeing Kris and everybody there. So all right, cool. Well, we got people talking to each other. That's awesome. Keep it rolling, guys. Keep talking to each other. We're going to get to the heart of the show, and I'm going to switch spots with Kris here. There we go. So I can give him a little bigger screen. So, Kris, we're talking about your favorite hacks, and you and I talked briefly before the show. And I'm all about transparency and honesty, so I can't keep anything like we plan this big thing. But Kris is like, so what do you want to talk about? I said, well, if we had more time. So we're going to talk about some hacks and some cool inventions that the OG Kris Flores has created. So which one do you want to talk about first? Well, let me talk about my hack real quick. And I
All
don't
right.
have the representation, but I do have a video. My claim to fame on the hacks, excuse me, is I did a sabiki rig saver, which I took a pool noodle. Sorry, guys. Took a pool noodle and wrapped it around my rod, which has sabiki rig on it, and then hooked my sabiki rig into the noodle because it's hard to keep sabiki rigs from hooking everything else. So that's my little hack, and I'm proud of that. But nothing I have compares to what we're about to see. So let's see one. Let's see what you got.
Oh man, well I'll go through them and they'll get more interesting as we go. If you guys have followed my channel, I've got several videos that I've put out throughout the years of just some crazy inventions that I've done, or just some, like we're talking hacks that I've just come up with out of necessity, and some of them out of fun. One of the ones that I came up with, and it's a pretty simple deal. It's nothing crazy brand new, but most of the people make a bait cooler. You take a cooler and then you mount a bubble maker on it. Well, I had done that, but it was getting towards winter time, and I was remembering I needed to keep my bait inside the vehicle because it would get too cold and they would die in the back of the truck or in the boat. So I needed a way to keep them in the boat. I mean, in the truck, inside, without spilling water. In a regular cooler, if you make a sharp turn or something, that water splashes and spills out the lid. So one of the things I did is I took a water jug. I found this old water jug at a yard sale for $5, and then I added the bubble maker to it. I just drilled a hole and put that in there. And the reason what makes the difference is that it has a lid on it. And You can put your bait in there. Got the bubble maker down in there, and it's not going to splash around and spill on you. And so, yeah, I used this for a little while, and it worked great. Some people on the comments would say, well, because it's got a cap, it's going to pressurize because of the air, but it never did. I don't think the bubble maker is strong enough to pressurize something like that. But
So you just you put that in the back of the truck with your bait in it and just hit the gas and just rolls everywhere.
no, I put it inside the truck. Yeah, I put it inside the truck. That's the whole reason, is because
I can just see a commercial. I can see Dave. I can see Dave right now. Hey guys, you tired of your bait coming out of your cooler when you're going down the highway? Just use this. And he's driving across the road erratically, jumping hills.
Now the trick is you got to let your friends know, because if they just see it like this, they're going to come and drink some water. You don't want that to happen.
Hey man, your water tastes a little fishy. Oh man. You gotta bring these things to CatCon, man, and show people.
I do have a funny story relating to that. And one time, years ago, Issa's mom, when we were living together here, she went out for a jog, right? She used to go running all the time, and so I decided to clean the aquarium, the fish tank, right? This beta fish. It was in a little tank, like a 10-gallon tank or something. So I was thinking, I dumped most of the water out, and I took a glass and I put some water from the tank in it so I could put the beta fish in there. And so I was in there in the tank scooping around trying to get that fish. Well, about that time, Issa's mom walks over, grabs that glass of water, and before I could say anything, she just chugs it, right? And I look at her, I said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And she's like, "What?" That's water from the aquarium. I was going to put the fish in there. She grossed out so bad, but yeah. So careful what you drink, guys.
DLD said when he first said bubble maker, I thought he meant a soap bubble machine like for the kids. And he was thinking to himself, what does soap bubbles have to do with catfish? I'm curious. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh man, the thing's got such a good patina on it. Like it looks like it's an antique.
Dude, it's been sitting there. Look at how. I know, it's like being in the Muddy River Museum, just hanging out.
That's what I was gonna say. There you go. Hey, look, we're always trying to think of things to make Catfish Conference better. The Muddy River Catfishing Museum, right next to the Steve Douglas Museum.
Yeah.
Put a thumbs up in chat if you'd like to see that at Catfish Conference. That'd be pretty cool. That's a whole nother booth. You just walk by and hey, this is what Steve uses, or this is what Kris uses. Oh man, DLD said nobody's gonna steal that out of your truck. Nope, unless they know what it is, and now you know what it is, so you better lock it down.
If you need some feisty bluegill and you see that thing, there you go.
And Jody is posting the link in the chat. Thank you, Jody. You can also find it in the description. Kris, if you didn't already know, has a really famous YouTube channel, Muddy River Catfishing, and a website, muddyrivercatfishing.com, where you can book trips with Kris if you're out his way. He guides professionally on the weekends right now, hopefully full-time one day. And then he also has a rod company and some other tackle items and apparel. So go check him out.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jody.
All right. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. That's right. And Doc Reed just entered in the house. What's up, Doc? All right. What's next?
Man. All right. So this one goes, I think this one dates back further than the water jug deal. So let me show you guys. When I first started YouTube, this was the camera that I was filming with. This little Canon right here. And I mean, no big deal. It did the trick. It would film 16 minutes at a time, and then I'd have to turn it back on. If you go back and you hear some grinding in the zoom, that was this camera, and that's when I finally had to change cameras, guys, because it just got so dirty. But I was Okay, so if you guys don't know, the Rio Grande cuts through New Mexico, and it's usually pretty muddy and hence the name, right? Muddy River catfishing. But they shut the river down every year to conserve water for irrigation purposes. Now, when they cut the water off, the water settles down and it turns pretty clear, right? So what I like to do still to this day, and I have some videos on it. If you guys are interested, go way back like 6, 8 years, and I like to explore these waters, and just so I can learn and physically see what's going on. So I know where better to place my bait, stuff like that. So one day I was out, I found this hole, and I took some goggles and I dove down in there, and it was fallen mesquite tree, and I got in there with my goggles and I could see all these flatheads stacked in there, right? Well, I wanted to make a video about it, but I couldn't figure out how can I get my camera underwater. I didn't have a GoPro. I didn't have a lot of. I didn't have money to buy
Well,
anything like
6
that at
years
the
ago,
time, right?
GoPros were state of the art back then.
Right. Yeah. At
You
that
just
time, it
couldn't
was
find
like,
a random one.
man. As a matter of fact, I did a giveaway. I bought a GoPro and gave it away, and I didn't even own a GoPro. Anyways, back to the story, guys. So my brain starts thinking, and I only have a small window also because the water will start to drop and dry out. So I said, okay, I can build some kind of housing for my camera. And so there I go. I went to Walmart. I found this plastic jar. I said, okay, now I've got to figure out a way to seal it. So I went and I bought. Okay, I went and bought a toilet flange and some gasket sealer, and I figured I need a way to operate it. So I bought a set of chemical gloves that are waterproof that I could put my hand in this contraption and operate the camera. So this is what I came out with, guys.
This is classic. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on
Check
a second.
this out. Check this out, guys. This plastic jar right here with this glove inside of it. It's got a this is a toilet flange right here, and then it's got this 4-inch uh, coupling to hold the glove on. It's folded back on itself, and so your hand goes inside. Let me see, it goes inside of here, and you can have functionality, right? So it's
Mhm.
got this clasp right here, and it opens up right here, right? So you would put your camera in there, close this up, and operate it. The issue that I had here is that I needed a way to secure my camera, right? So check this out. So so I built this tripod with suction cups, and this isn't the screw that goes with it, but this is a little bit longer. But this screw, I drilled a hole so that it'll go through here and screws to your
It's
screws to your
crazy, man.
camera, right? Let me set this up real quick. Yeah, man. You don't let me just sit around and think because I'll come up with all kinds of stuff. So this is my tripod, guys. This is my tripod. Now you gotta wet these, I'm sure. Wet these old suction cups. Probably got decades of.
I like this comment right here.
What's
This
that?
one says Harold Bolton said, "It's like fishing and stuff from the hood." I love that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Jody said he's a part-time scientist. A lot of people are saying that's awesome. DLD said my plumber just ran screaming out of the house when he saw that. Laura the Explorer said looks like something out of a Mad Max movie.
So check it out. The suction cups in there, guys. You can see that. And then I close this up. Let's see here. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Get this where it's supposed to be.
People are saying genius. Ram Outdoors said shade tree technology at its finest. Valerie
That's
Irwin said he's the MacGyver of fishing.
Hold on, guys. Those suction cups are old. I don't even know if they're gonna grab. But anyways, let me get this in here.
DLD said, "Are the kids' suction cup darts missing at the end?"
All right, hold on, guys. I'm almost there. I had to figure out how this is.
Yeah, you had to put it back together. I mean, it's been sitting out of commission for a
Been a
while.
while, yeah.
Now you got a GoPro and you stick it in the water.
Yeah, I know, right? Can't figure out
Crazy how much technology has changed. You don't even have to think about that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
You know what would be a good idea for a video though, Chris,
What's that?
is to take your new stuff and film like a side by side fishing video with the new stuff versus the old stuff. Like even underwater footage and all that.
Oh yeah, side by side, see which one's got better video.
Well, just I mean, so people can see what it's like, what it was like. I mean, I guess they can go watch the old videos, but I can't get anybody to watch my old videos.
So the suction cups aren't sticking, guys. So I'm just gonna have to hold it. But
that's all right. We get the idea.
You see, I've got the finger where I could turn it on, take pictures, zoom it in and out. I can operate my camera with this.
Yeah,
that was the basic idea of this. Now, one thing I did find that was cool is that because it's airtight, it's buoyant, but it's not buoyant enough that I can't take it underwater.
Right.
But it was buoyant enough that I could lay my chest on it and swim with my goggles, just kind of floating around and just film around. It was really cool.
Not only did you have an underwater cam, you had an underwater chest cam.
Yeah, that's right. See? So there you go, guys.
Did GoPro forget to pay you?
I know, right? I'm gonna put it on eBay for the highest bidder.
You say we've joked around a little bit, but you've joked around and said people copy my ideas, man. GoPro, man, go get your money.
I know, right? The first underwater camera.
Laura the Explorer said it's like an unveiling a time capsule. Yeah,
it is. It is. It's so crazy when I see this stuff laying around, and I think, man, I was actually out there messing around, filming with the stuff.
And that wasn't even that long ago. Like we're not talking 20 years. You know?
Yeah, maybe 8 years.
6 to 8 years.
Yeah.
And if fish, here's a great comment. He can definitely do underwater fishing. You want to give us a little background? I know the story, but it sounds better when you tell it.
Paula Smith, I love you, woman. So Paula Smith, if you guys don't know, she's a legend in Tennessee. She catches big old 80+ pound blue cats in the Tennessee River and surrounding areas. And she's a little bitty thing. She probably weighs 90 pounds herself, you know, but she's reeling in these big monster catfish. So she's well known in her area. And we got together and we became good friends. And she came down to fish with me one time. And so I took her on my little stretch of what I call the Muddy River. Steve calls it the ditch. But we got out there and
I call it boot camp.
Yeah, he calls it boot camp. But we got out there and Paula got hooked up on a fish. Well, this fish, it felt pretty decent and it got tangled up. So we did everything we could to try to get it untangled. And, you know, I took the boat over there. We were working it, just could not get that fish loose. So I tied the boat off right above where the fish is tangled up. And next thing you know, I'm stripping off my boots and my socks and taking out my wallet and my keys. And Paula's asking, like, what the heck's going on? Are you really going to go? I go, yeah, I'm going after that fish. You're not going. Oh, my God. Oh, but yeah, long story short, I had to dive in and free that fish, get that tangle undone. And she ended up landing that fish.
How many did y'all catch that weekend?
I should go back and count. I lost count. That was a phenomenal day of fishing, man. We just one after the other all day long.
I'm sure Paula remembers. Paula probably got the number down pat. But I remember you and I talked about that weekend because I was about to come up in a couple weeks or something. and you were like, I don't know what to name this video. It was like Flathead Infestation. That's how,
Yeah.
what did
Yeah.
you end up naming it again?
Yeah. Something like that.
Station. Y'all,
Yeah.
if you think that story is good, go check it out on his channel. It's called Flathead Infestation or something like that. It's got a flathead on it and some like slimy letters.
Right.
Go check it out, and you'll see Kris and Paula fishing the Muddy River and him going underwater to unhook these fish and bring it up. Do you
Yeah.
charge extra to go in after the fish?
I don't know, but I expect a good tip.
Blew me out of my chair. It's jungle.
It's the jungle,
Is
Sandman.
it, is, it
Yeah,
like a
Sandman.
jungle? Is it like a jungle down there when you're down there rooting around?
You know what? Underneath, it's just a bunch of sticks, man. It's a bunch of just stumps and sticks and branches and stuff. And yeah,
Wow. Most epic fishing video I've seen, says Joseph Lugo. So he's seen it.
Joseph, what's up, brother?
All right. So next one. I don't know how it gets better than that, man.
Next one, the Weekend Angler. You guys familiar with the Weekend Angler?
Yeah, Josh from the Weekend Angler. Great
Yeah,
chat.
Josh. So Josh and I, we decided to do a challenge. We challenged ourselves who could build their own fishing pole, rod and reel, and so the idea was we'd each build it, and we wouldn't upload the video till we had our builds done, and and then we'd go from there. And he had built one out of it was a fiberglass pole. I want to say it was used for like marking properties or something like that. And he had made this really cool reel. It looked like it was about this big, maybe 5 or 6 inches big. Thing almost looks like a fly rod, like a fly fishing reel, right? And the problems that he was having, and I noticed Luke Nichols had built one too, and he had made a reel similar, right? That looks like almost like a bait caster style reel. But the problem that they were having was when they go to cast it, the handle would create a drag, so you couldn't get distance on it, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So my brain came up with a solution for that. I mean, like, I hadn't seen, like I said, I hadn't seen Josh's build before, but my brain had already come up with, I need to have some kind of way to get distance, but also I got to be able to reel it in, So then let me show you the rod I built, guys.
And it's Luke's birthday today, I think. I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Luke, which you better not be on your birthday, happy birthday, man. Looks like Don Angle is going to be fishing with Dave this Saturday. Good luck. Make sure he brings you catches you a big catfish.
All right. Here we go, guys. Let's see. I decided for the rod itself, I needed something flexible. So I decided to use tent poles, like the poles that
Yep.
When you're putting up a tent for camping. So it's gonna be hard to show this thing right here. But so I started. So from the tip, I did one. I took wire and I just made the loops for the guides, and then I used heat shrink to put them on there, right? So then I went from 1 to 2 to start building the backbone. Then another guy, and then tent poles, and then down to 3. And I got I got this big old 8-ounce lid on here.
That's your walleye bait.
That's my walleye bait, guys. So then I went down to 3, and then another eye, and then okay, and then what I did for the grip is I bought some of that in the plumbing section. Oh, the plumbing section is my favorite section.
That sounds like it.
Over here at Lowe's, just so you guys know, there's a guy named Ray. Ray, if you're watching, what's up, brother? You know what I'm about to say. When he sees me in the plumbing section, he says, "What are you building now, Kris?" Because I know you're not plumbing. Yeah, you got that right. But it's like a fiber tape that you wet and then you wrap it and it gets really hard and you can use it to patch holes in pipes and stuff like that. So I use that to make my grip.
Right.
So that's what this is. So now let me show you the reel itself. So the reel, I took two jar. Let me turn this a little bit. I took two jar lids and bolted them to a spool, like a sewing spool, like a wooden spool.
Right.
And then I spooled that up and I locked it in place with a nut. And then anybody missing a 10 mil? A 10 mil.
I know that's not a 10 millimeter.
No, it's a little bigger than that. But so there's my handle, right? To turn it.
Gomez says Lowe's. That's awesome. That's where I see Kris all the time.
Yeah, no joke, right? So the trick to this is I'm gonna have to hold this kind of funky. Let me see. Okay, you guys can see it right there. So the trick to this is, yeah, it reels like that, normal, But when you go to cast it, I've got it mounted to a quarter turn valve right here. If you can see that. So what I do is I have this little bar right here that's drilled into a hole, and that's my keeper bar. So I pop this bar off. Then this will turn, quarter turn, and now it's like a spinning reel, and the line will just come out.
Ah, so you don't have any drag.
So there's no drag. So when you're ready to reel it in, just turn it back over. Put your keeper bar in so it doesn't spin on you. And then you just crank your line in.
Look at
that. Huh. So this is the rod that I built for that competition, guys. And you should see I was launching that 8-ounce lead. There's a park right behind my house, and I would launch that thing. I think I got 100 feet on it.
100 feet. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I'd like to see you use that reel on one of your rods now.
I don't know. I don't remember which video it is.
On that.
there's a video of me using this rod, and we catch like a 30-pound blue cat on it.
Really?
It's hilarious because it handles it like a champ. But I'm reeling and reeling and reeling, and you would think that fish was like a mile down the lake, but it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So he was really just right there, like probably 10 feet out. But yeah, there's some good video on that. If you guys get a chance, it's probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
That's really interesting because you hear people saying, I'm even guilty of saying that you can catch a catfish on anything.
Right.
And then there you are with tent poles and jar lids and a socket. And you catch a 30-pound catfish.
Come on, Kevin. I'm sure you've come up with something like that. What do you got?
And I'm just not. I collapse under pressure. Like, as long as it wasn't a time thing and I could just really think about it for a long time.
Yeah.
But see, I would be the guy that actually used the broomstick to prove that you can catch a catfish with the broomstick.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Andy Hanslick from Charleston said he's listening intently. Wanted to say hey to you.
Hey, Andy.
2 stands came in. Let's see. Dan said the reel's on the wrong side. He sees the problem.
It's interchangeable, man. You just pick that.
Paula said 4 more treatments, and I'll be looking for a home in New Mexico. All right.
Come on down, Paula. We're ready for you.
Murillo said How did this not make it in a production model? Send it
That'll
to China, man. They'll work it out for you.
be the next. That'll be the next one.
Next
The
one.
next Muddy River model right
There
there.
you go. Valerie said ingenious. Lori said so creative.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sandman said, interesting. Harold said Abu will have those in production this spring. Lost Creek Catfish said from Alabama, hey Kris, put that in the Muddy River Museum. I'm really
Yeah,
liking this concept.
it's been in there, man. It's well, come to my house, guys. I got a big old museum right there as you walk in.
But I mean, you travel, you drag a trailer anyway. Put the junk in not the junk, the stuff in the trailer, and then we'll set up a table, put a big glass case around it.
There
Put
you go.
some LEDs on it.
Yeah, that rod was a fun build, man. I think I was really surprised at how far I could cast it, and I was super surprised at how well it handled a big old fish. What did Joseph say? He wants to use that rod this weekend?
Yeah, he said let him borrow it this weekend when he goes to pick the bait.
We'll drag some baits with it.
JR Bank Fishing said enjoyed meeting you two at the Catfish Conference.
Likewise.
There's so many awesome people I got to meet. I wish I had like a, what's that, photogenic memory,
Right.
or whatever, where you could just like put the name and the face together and you can never forget. Because also I had people come with me in Kansas City I met last year. Yeah, hey, I met you last year. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, man, but it's good to see you again. Like, you just meet so many people and it's so overwhelming. And I know you meet like 100 times more people. I don't even know how you do it.
I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. It's a blast. All these folks that support me throughout the years and stuff, and I never get tired of shaking hands and saying hello and spending a little bit of time, what I can with them, and I mean, I'm forever grateful. So
yeah, man, that's awesome. Two Stan said it's not junk, that is catfishing artifacts.
That's right.
I caught myself.
Hey, Two Stands, if you want to do some sturgeon fishing with my fishing pole, man, I'm happy to use it.
Oh no, you're gonna get him started now. You said the S word. Roy W. Barrett said, I'm really liking the show. Big shout out, Washington State. What's up, Roy? You're Washington State.
Thanks for watching.
Scotty Hill's in the house. Hey, fellas. Don said, guess what y'all be fishing? Guess what y'all be fishing this weekend, Joseph? I got you. Now he's going to have to try it out. Abu Flores, Pro Rocket, Prototype. Abu Flores. I like that.
Oh, man.
That would be cool to have Abu with your logo on the side. That'd be pretty
There you
go. He said, I'll be good, but challenge accepted. All right.
Oh, man. I saw Luke caught a big old sturgeon, man. Did you see that?
Yeah, Luke Hinges.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
He said it was just shy of the state record.
That's crazy, man. Like yeah. I've seen, obviously you've seen tons of video of people catching those things. And have you ever caught one?
No, never caught a sturgeon.
Man. Yeah, people talking about catching sturgeon now.
Did I tell you about I do have a sturgeon story, and it involves traumatizing children.
We gotta hear it.
I was telling this the other day at Catfish Conference, I think. So we had taken a trip, my family and I. We went down to Arizona. Where were we at? Phoenix. We were in Phoenix, and they have this big aquarium over there. So we went to check it out. And Alex was probably he was probably like 5 or 6 at the time, and we ended up going on field trip day. So there was a bunch of little elementary students running around and stuff, and so we're walking around checking out everything, and we walk up to the sturgeon tank, and it was a petting tank, but it was probably about, I don't know, maybe 2 feet deep. And so the sturgeon would just swim in a circle, but at the bottom, so there's no way you could pet them. Well, I know sturgeons don't bite. I know they don't have teeth, So I was thinking, how could I get my son to pet this fish since he's down on the bottom? So my idea was I would put my hand down along the bottom, and when he swam past it, I'd guide him to the top. And as he came up to the top, my son could pet him, right? Well, keep in mind the kids are watching. There's a like a whole classroom of kids just watching us, what we're doing, all surrounding the tank, right? So the sturgeon makes a pass. I put my hand down, and I'm holding my hand like that on right above the bottom, and the sturgeon comes passing by. Well, as he comes passing, I start to raise up on him like that, and he bites me, right? Well, it didn't hurt because it's just a rubber mouth, but I just didn't expect it. So it freaked me out, and I pull my hand away like this, right? And all the kids are like, "Oh my gosh, he bites, run away!" And all these kids screaming and yelling and running off. And I'm like, "No, no."
Look, it's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, not even Alex wanted to pet it after that. So sorry if any of you kids out there watching this. I'll pitch in for the therapy sessions or whatever. But
my dad, the only sturgeon I've ever seen, we do have them in our river, but they're Atlantic sturgeon, a little smaller, I guess. My dad caught one on a trot line back in the day, and he brought it up, and it was still alive, and showed everybody tackle shop. Everybody was in awe, and it was about 3 or 4 foot long. I gotta find the paper because they put it in the paper and everything. The game warden calls like, "Yeah, we're aware they're there. Can you let him go, or is he alive?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's alive. Well, let him go, and that'd be great." So they got the measurements and everything, and he let him go. It was some big ordeal back in the day.
wow,
That's
that's
the only one I've ever seen.
huh. That's pretty cool.
Roy said, "I've caught a 300-pound sturgeon, and there's bigger in the Columbia River in Washington." Wow,
Jeez,
that's
couldn't
crazy.
imagine. That'd be a heck of a fight. Did you see who was it? Was it Al Linder, I think? No, it was Babe Winkleman, I think, on a float tube fighting a big old sturgeon. Did you see that video?
Hmm.
Man, I couldn't imagine. I catch these flatheads on a float tube, and they're 30, 40 pounds, and they pull me around. I couldn't imagine a big old sturgeon on a float tube.
Man, I just had an image in my head. Imagine Paula Smith on a float tube with a 30-pound flathead. You wouldn't see her anymore, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Paula, get the line.
That's it, Paula. We're going float tube fishing when you come down.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
I need the views.
Me too. Apparently, they're real good eating. Somebody said in chat. So
Oh yeah, the sturgeon. Aren't those the ones that they get the caviar from?
Yeah, they get caviar from sturgeon.
Right.
I know people actually eat the meat though. I know here you can't. I don't think you can harvest them here. I'm not sure. Never thought about it. What you got next? You got any other inventions over there?
I do have one. I'm almost. If Dawn's watching, she needs to look away because it involves my cutting board.
Oh.
Actually, Dawn gave me this. Hold on.
So yeah, I never know that you could eat sturgeon. Imagine that.
So Dawn had given me this cutting board right here, and I wanted it for my boat because every once in a while my clients want to keep some catfish, and the rule on my boat is anything over 10 pounds goes back, and you can keep your limit of under 10 pounds. So
right.
That's a perfect size for filleting some fish, but I just had nowhere to put it. And so I kept thinking about it, like, where could I mount that thing that it wouldn't be in the way, because it's kind of big. And finally I came up with an idea. So let me see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to take you guys off here for a second.
And so y'all be patient with Kris. He's broadcasting from the boat if you can.
Yeah, I'm sitting in my boat right here. So I'm not going to change the screen because my phone's kind of funky, but what I did here's my famous cutting board, guys. Can you see it right there?
I'm gonna put
Nice
you on
and
full
clean.
screen. There
I
you
just cleaned it up this morning, you
go.
know. But what I did, check out, if there's a famous knife. If you guys
Oh man, that thing looks like something out of a horror movie. Gosh,
you don't know how many fish this thing is cut up. But anyways,
bodies or people or
yeah. So what I did on my cutting board is I put these little studs. There's four of them. One, two, three, and four, right? And then what I did is I took this cutting board and I drilled holes in it to correspond,
uh,
and it falls in right there on top of it, so you can see. Now I have a nice clean board to fillet fish on, and when I'm done, I just pop it right off of there, wash it up in the lake, nice and clean, and then just tuck it away back here.
that's really cool. Yeah,
So
because you definitely don't want all those shad
yeah,
guts and all kinds of stuff
right.
with the fresh catfish fillets.
So yeah, that's another little mod I did on my boat. Thank you again, Don, for that.
That's pretty cool, man. I
Use
like
my
that.
hand here for a second, guys.
Yeah, I the only cutting board thing I made my own cutting board, and the only thing that I thought was cool about that is that I mounted it with a Scotty rod holder mount because nobody at the time, and I don't know if there's anybody that still has made a mount. Um, you know how they have those alloy mounts for your cutting boards to go on your pontoon rails.
Right,
I didn't know if anybody made one. I hadn't seen one, so I just took a Scotty rod holder square mount, and then I took their depth finder platform where you screw your depth finder in for kayaks, and I just
right,
popped that on there and popped it down in that square rod holder mount. I thought that was pretty smart.
right.
But now
Yep.
you have a cutting board on a cutting board.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing I did on my cutting board to stabilize it was it because it had one, like most of them have that center
Right.
piece pedestal, right? But it'll kind of wobble on you. So what I did is I took some of Steve's monster rod holder bases, and I got some half-inch carriage bolts, and then I popped them on two of them down and put them into the rod holder base. So now I have 2 point support. So that
Yeah,
does help a lot.
that's a great idea. Yeah, I thought about doing two Scotty rod holder mounts for mine, like one on each side.
Mhm.
But then it's working. So when it stops working, I'll do something different. or when Steve, or when Steve makes a rod holder or a cutting board mount for me.
There you go.
He did the T bars for us. Did you see that? He's got the corner T bars. So
Yeah,
uh,
nice.
all right. So Dave has been asking over and over relentlessly. Show your live scope.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, man.
I'm sure there's a story that goes along with this too.
Oh, dude, I mean, I mean, my boat it looks good from far, but man, you can start seeing some old backyard shade tree ghetto Mickey Mouse stuff, and
I've been
my
on it, man. I think your boat's nice, man. I
my
mean,
well, thank you, but yeah, like the you'll understand when you see the live scope. So if you guys if you guys know about live scope, it has so you have your regular depth finder, right, which is mounted on your boat,
uh-huh.
and then you have live scope, which is separate. It's a separate transducer, and most people either mount it on their trolling motor or they have a separate pole for it.
Right.
So I didn't want it on my trolling motor because then it's fixed and it's going to point wherever the trolling motor points. And I wanted to be able to turn it and scan the water whichever way I wanted to. So the problem I had was I didn't want to have a pole sticking up in my boat all the time that
Right.
I'm ready to use it. I just lower it, but I have this big old flagpole just sticking up. So I had to come up with a way to conceal it, I guess, and make it you know, just where it's not in the way. So yeah, I guess that's part of the cutting board. That's why Dave said it. So what I did is, let me show you here, guys. This is, let me see. This is my live scope unit. This is the transducer, and I mounted it to this 1.5 inch PVC conduit,
Uh-huh.
and then you can see the high tech ties that I've got right here, which are Velcro.
Oh, okay. I love
This
Velcro,
just
man.
this just keeps it on this side. Now the the part Dave's probably talking about. Let's see if you guys could see. So I've got this metal pole, which is a this is a fishing rod
Yeah,
holder,
rod
right?
holder, rocket launcher.
And I welded it to a door hinge, and I bolted it or screwed it to my cutting board. So then I've got another high tech. Let me move this cutting board.
Dave is
Okay,
laughing
let
in
me,
the
let
chat.
me take that off. Now I'll undo this one over here. Hold on.
Dave is getting a kick out of this.
So now it flips up, right?
Uh-huh.
So then I put this I put, I put this little contraption here that I built. So this jumps right over
And it cradles it.
and it cradles it. And now I have my live scope that I can. Oh,
So
I gotta push.
you just look in that hole and you can see the fish.
Yeah, that's my periscope down right there. You just peek through there, you see whatever you want. But no, this is how I can scan the water. And usually, basically, I use this to catch bait. I don't really use it for fishing, but it saves me a lot when I'm throwing my cast net.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, like you can say it's shade tree all you want, but it serves a purpose and it's unique. Nobody else has it but you.
Right. I need to patent that for Garmin right there.
Oh, it's too late, man. It's live now. People are drawing people are
Oh,
drawing.
patent pending, guys. Just so you know.
There you go. You heard it right there.
We go back up.
Well, guys, in addition to all that, crod. I don't know what that word was. Kris has manufactured a bunch of stuff. He's got a bunch of hacks that he uses, like from just changing rigs real quick to his own rig, and if he wants to, he can tie that one. I thought that was fantastic. But he's got a 3-way rig that he doesn't use a swivel on. He ties without any leaders or anything. It's pretty cool.
Right.
But he also manufactures, or has designed and had manufactured fishing rods. So he's got 4 different models. He's got a Blue Cat rod, a flathead rod, a Paula Smith rod, and then a Channel Cat rod. And so I'm not sure if all of them are in stock. We can check those out on muddyrivercatfishing.com and see what he's got in stock. Or you can come in February and you may be able to pick one up there. But then he's also got his catfish bobbers. He's got hoodies and long sleeve t-shirts and that cool hat. So you hand paint those hats too, right?
Right. Yeah, the catfish hat right there.
Yep.
I'm a little low in stock on those guys. I'm working really hard to get more.
You better get them
back.
now. You better get them now before they go out of stock.
Yeah.
Use code Palmetto 10. You won't get anything off, but
Get 11% off.
Chris will laugh. Hey, I put out of 10 and nothing happened. I know. Oh man. So you had a few comments right during that. Let's see. So there you go. Lost Creek said, I love the pool noodle bobber. I fish with them all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have one here. Yeah.
DLD said when you were showing your there's your bobber. Hang on a second.
There's the bobber right there, guys. For those of you guys who haven't seen it, The uniqueness of this one is it's not an inline bobber, so that you don't thread your line through the middle of it.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
It's a clip-on style bobber. So basically, you do a three-way. I mean, you do a Carolina rig with the sinker slide on top and a bobber
Mhm.
stop on top of that, and you clip this onto your sinker slide. You set your
Right.
bobber stop at whatever depth you want. It'll slide right up and float. If you decide the fish aren't biting suspended, you just unclip it. You have your Carolina rig, and you're ready to bottom fish. So you never have to cut your
Yep.
line. That's the beauty of
Ye-
this. And then the two holes on top are for a glow stick. You take those 8-inch bracelet style glow sticks that you use on the kids,
Uh-huh.
and then you just put one over, or you can put two in, and this thing will float around. You see it super bright.
Right
It's a
on.
ton of
And you
fun.
got different sizes too, right?
Yeah, we got different sizes. We have this is the XL, and then we have a skinny, a little bit smaller than this.
Awesome. Awesome. When you were showing your cutting board, DLD said get some bread and sop that up. Let's see. He says Blackstone Grill. DLD's got some awesome comments. His Blackstone Grill was set on that. That's pretty cool.
you know,
Uh,
I've had some clients, say, "How come you don't cook on the boat?" I said, "All right, look, you see my hands full of fish guts and slime,
uh-huh.
and I don't think you want me handling your food right now, all right?"
David says Smiths and MacGyver wants to know if you're available for lunch meeting tomorrow, Chris.
Oh, that's
Don't
awesome.
Two Stan said don't pick up a Muddy River rod if you don't want to buy one.
Thank you, thank you.
Fat Cat Live Wells, what's up, Fat Cat Live Wells? We met him at the Catfish conference.
Yes, we did. Absolutely. That he's got some cool stuff, man. Did you get to check out his booth?
Yeah, he gave me a hat.
I did a live stream and I showed his booth. So if you guys didn't see it, go to my Facebook page. And yeah, there he is. And I was showing his live well setups. He's got some tournament style
There
live
you
wells set up, filtration, aeration, all that good stuff. But he also sells what I really liked is he sells just the unit itself that you could put into your
go.
own live well,
Yeah, the aerators
the
and stuff.
aerator and filtration. And I've got a live well. It's basically a toolbox, but I do need to do some kind of filtration on it. So I need to get with him and order one.
Yeah, it was very unique, very sturdy, like tough looking. Like you're not going to break that. You're not going to bend it or
Right.
drop it. I mean, don't drop it, but because you might hurt your boat. That's what I'm talking about.
What's the website? Can you put his website on there? Is that all right?
Go ahead and type your website in, or if somebody, one of my mods, want to do that for me, Fat Cat Live Wells. Trish, hey Trish, she said that's right, Stan. Awesome gear.
Hi,
Um,
Trish.
there you go. Pop a glow stick on. Yep, talking about the floats. Trying to catch up. Oh, it will be like eating Cardi B chips.
That's pretty much, I think,
Oh,
when it said when it said Cardi B flavor, I think that's kind of what my cutting board smells like. That's just
oh man.
uh,
Let's see. Pool noodles for DIY planer boards are a thing. No, yeah, they do. They make
yeah,
planer boards with pool noodles on the top. Fat Cat Live Wells said just follow me on Facebook under Fat Cat. I think he meant Live Wells, not Life Wells.
right.
Or did he? Is it Life Wells?
No, it's
Oh, it's
live
Life.
well.
Okay, I was like, did I really not get that? All right, the next Catfish conference is the last weekend in February. Do you know that right off the top of your head, Chris?
Probably like it's usually around the 28th, 20, right around there. I don't have the exact date, but it's
Here
probably
it is.
around 28th.
24th and 25th.
Okay, so 24th, 25th, yeah.
Yep, it'll be in Louisville, Kentucky, and that's the OG one. That's the one that started it all, and that's the big one. So you'll see everybody there, and that's
Oh
where
yeah,
you don't even have to really advertise for that one much. People just show up.
that one's
But,
packed.
yeah, if you can't remember the dates later on, it's the last weekend in February. Yep, last weekend in February, pretty much every year. So check that out. I actually have a discount code for tickets. Enter Palmetto Cats when you go get your tickets. You get 10% off your tickets. They're only $10, but if you want to save $1, go ahead.
Yeah,
um,
that's $1 more towards fishing gear.
there you go. There you go. Let's see. Palmetto did the Cardi B a little too well. I ate the chips, man.
Will you be doing the Golden Whiskers Awards again there?
Yep, we'll be doing the
Awesome.
Golden Whiskers Awards. We're going to be getting more information. Again, if you guys that sponsored last year, if you didn't get to, you can sponsor the Golden Whiskers now. Just email me, palmetacats@gmail.com. But yeah, well, the Golden Whiskers are a YouTube catfishing award show. Catfishing genre, which may do, people do a little carp and everything like that, but pretty much everybody in our community, from Chris Flores to Steve Douglas to Shireen is keeping it real to kayak catfish. We got all those guys in there, and we'll be putting some more information up about how you can get involved with nominating people. There's also a Facebook page, Golden Whiskers on Facebook. You can join that and nominate videos all you want.
I got to tell you, man, I'm a little hurt that me and Paula didn't win Flathead of the Year after I had dove in after that Flathead.
I know you were. I'm pretty sure you were nominated for that, but
That's the last time I dive in for a Flathead on YouTube, man. That's it.
I'm not doing it no more. We didn't win. Come on, man. That's a poor loser's attitude. You just
I
got to
know,
go out
right?
and get back in it again. Sandman said Chris needs his own brand of Muddy River catfish beef jerky.
I got shad jerky. I make it fresh every morning on my Saturday trips.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll cut up some fresh shad, and then by the time my afternoon clients show up, it's just right.
Hey, look, we had another hack plan in case we ran out of time, which we're over now. But so when I went fishing with Chris on the Muddy River, he was cutting up. So he had a Coke sitting right there, freshly opened Coke, and a boat paddle, and this giant gizzard shad. He's cutting it up right there next to the Coke, and I imagine some scales or some kind of juices got into that Coke. But you can use your boat paddle for a cutting board. I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes an excellent cutting board. And trust me, I find scales on everything. Sandwiches, pizza, chicken. Yeah. Crispy, crunchy chicken with little fish
Oh,
scales. Perfect.
I tell you what, there's not much that can top some cold, crispy, crunchy chicken on a warm day or a cold day.
Right?
Dave said
Especially,
he's in. He'll be your co-pilot.
all right. Especially when you're hungry from working hard to clear the path for the Muddy River.
Just remember. Oh, I think he meant to Catfish conference.
Right.
Let's see. Just remember your pads this time, your floor.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot them, man.
All right, guys. So we're gonna get out of here, but thank you so much, Chris, for coming in last minute. And when Patriot James told me that he wanted to give me this Wednesday night show, he said it's just getting harder and harder to find guests and to get people to commit, and that's so true. I've had so much trouble trying to find people because we're all busy.
Right.
Rightfully so. I mean, you're trying to patch a roof, and you took time out. So I really, really appreciate you coming on here, man.
My pleasure, man. I always appreciate you. Like I said, you're always there for me. So it's the least I could do.
Chris is a great friend, guys. If you've never met him, at least met him, you need to come out and meet him. Or if you're ever in the Elephant Butte area or Las Cruces, look him up, book a trip with him, go out and catch some catfish, and better yet, just go out and have a great time, because you're gonna go out and have a great time whether or not you catch a bunch of catfish or not. I guarantee it. So go check him out.
That's my goal. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for always
Mhm.
being there. Thanks for having me on your show. And I hope these few little hacks and
Oh man, they're
contraptions that I
awesome.
got made it worthwhile.
Boom, man. Gotta make sure I recognize Super Chatters 222. Two of my favorite people on YouTube right there. Thanks, Stan.
Thank you, Stan. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Well, if you've never seen the show, at the end, I always pray before we go, so we're not going to change that up. Here we go. Heavenly Father, thank you for friends like Kris and for people I've met through this community. Lord, thank you for blessing us with it. Lord, I pray that you be with everyone as we go. Pray that you be with those who are hurting or sick, Lord, who's are undergoing treatments and need treatments. And Lord, we just hold those people in our prayers and ask you to bless them. Lord, I ask you to be with Kris as he patches his roof. Lord, help him get it fixed up and bless him, Lord. And I just thank you for all you do for me. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Oh, and then we got one more. Boom, 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 boom. No real losses in the house.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Make sure you go. Like I said, if you want to, Kris is awesome. I'll carry his flag anywhere.
Man, Murillo. he
He cost you. He cost you some money.
yeah, that was the first time that I bought my first Hellcat rod from Catch the Fever because of Mr. Murillo there. I
There.
was a proud owner of a Hellcat rod for a good 5 solid minutes.
You guys, if you want to hear more about the Kansas City Catfish Conference, Michael Murillo, myself, his sister Trish, and our friend Tim and Stan went over in the podcast, and I just posted it over at the Real Deal Fishing Podcast YouTube channel. You can go check that out, and you can hear about all the shenanigans that went down, and the great times and the people that were blessed. So go check that out, the Real Deal Fishing Podcast over on YouTube, or you can just listen to it on anywhere you get your podcast from. So that being said, everybody, thank you so much. Till next time, happy fishing.